exactly sure what you're referring to outside of the dent limit was raised, but it would not have any effect as far as Medicare is concerned, or this is within the parameters of the budget that was passed. And this is the only bill that fits into this can actually happen this year, where the other things can't.
Well, I see where they're trying to do so much for the veterans, yet they raised the co-payment for the veterans 250%.
It went from $2, I think, to $7, something like that.
Title 19 is $1.
Right. The one thing to keep in mind, no one likes to see an increase like that. What you have to keep in mind is that veterans' drugs costs are about 50% of what people in Medicare are paying to start with. And also that co-payment increase, every dollar of that goes back to the VA. It doesn't go into the general fund. So it's going to enhance the health care in general for veterans. But I don't like to see it any more than you, but the one thing that veterans should appreciate is that their drug costs are considerably lower to begin with, and that those additional dollars go right back into the VA.
Well, they're doing moving the boys in Afghanistan, what do they do for us?
Well,
Here to get at home.
In healthcare, the federal government spends about $350 billion a year. For an aid in total, it's about 11. So I mean, you could wipe out all the foreign aid, and it wouldn't really have. And we'll get into foreign aid discussions some other time, but whether or not we should be doing that in some places. But as far as affecting health care or dollars available for Medicare or drug coverage, it really doesn't have much effect.
In the hospital, I had glaucoma. One summer I went in there, I had pneumonia, and I had these drops in my eyes, it was 23.55 a bottle. Next time I went in there, 94. We bought about that high. Same damn thing.
Why?
Same damn thing in Texas, $2.80. In Mexico, $2.80.
Are you sure it's the same thing? I mean, that's the only thing in Mexico. It could be. I don't know. But what was the reason for the huge increase?
The guy that had doing the job,
The what?
the fellow that had doing the job, he had the authority to raise it.
Really?
In fact, America.
As you know, one thing in Medicare, the way it was set up in '65, the only way that you get your drugs paid for is if you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
And you walk out the door and you got to pay for it yourself, and that's just upside down. I mean, the way medicine was practiced in 1965 is not the way medicine's practiced today.
Has that been changed now that they're covered with even at their own home, if you're in their own home?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this is all about, is outpatient. So you go in, and most seniors today have at least 2 chronic ailments that they're treating. Whether it's arthritis or high blood pressure, or diabetes, or any one of those. And medicine today is practiced on an outpatient basis. We don't have nearly invasive surgeries that we used to. And we're treating chronic disease. And that's why this is absolutely critical, that we get something done that's going to help the most vulnerable folks, and also put a cap on what it's going to do. It's not going to wipe you out.
If you have a question, I was just wondering about your home care, how much of that would be covered under would it be under Medicare then?
Right.
Okay.
As it is today. The problem we have in home health care is that this forecast by the end of the fiscal year, the start of the next fiscal year, that they have a huge 15% cut in reimbursement, which is going to just really hurt us here in Iowa. And another part of this takes care of that, so that it holds them harmless and actually gives them about a 1% increase.
What age did you say it was that Medicaid FX? Remember you said something about 65? they would be charged.
That was, no, I was talking about when Medicare came into effect was in 1965. It had nothing to do with age. But, you know, I'm just saying that that's, you know, Medicare was started in 65 and medicine was practiced a lot different then.
So just say we need to look in the pool with that for a certain age.
Not a certain age, a certain income level. There always will be a co-payment on individual prescriptions. If it's a generic drug, it would be $2, or a non-generic, which is the only one available. But if there's a choice, you want a name brand, you pay $5 co-pay for the individual prescription.
Is there anything if you're on Medicare that could keep you from having a supplemental?
This would, you could replace the current supplemental that you're paying for. I mean, yeah, not the part, not the doctor part, but if you're buying a policy today to give you some help on the prescription drug benefits, then that could be replaced with this. Now, it may be that same company will offer a plan also. And there's a couple things to remember. First of all, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. And there are a lot of folks who have some type of drug coverage in part of their pension. Say if you work on the railroad or something like that, you maybe already have a plan, and you don't want to pay that additional $33 premium. But if you already have a plan in place, this could substitute for the current plan and would be a much better benefit. And certainly in Iowa, we have no drug benefit under Medicare. There are areas today in the country that have HMOs who take a payment from Medicare and offer additional benefits like drug coverage to seniors.
Are you saying then that we don't need a supplemental if they have Medicare?
You need your Part B, your physician. But this is a new benefit for drug coverage. Don't confuse your physician part of it.
I'm Jay.
I'm not
You're
just
talking
talking
about
about,
I'm Jay.
I'm not just talking about the drug part, I'm talking about, because usually your supplemental pays what your Medicare will pay.
Not for your drug coverage.
No,
Right. They're separate issues.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It would not replace the Part B, which is your physician, your doctor's portion of it. This is a separate prescription drug benefit. Come on, folks.
You mentioned, I was bragging until you lost it a little bit. Going back to what your mother is worried about. Okay, somewhere along the line, I dropped out. Of how is this going to stop the catastrophic illness from wiping out your parents before they use up their money? That's where I got lost. And I know you covered it, but I apologize.
The most an individual could ever pay would be $3,700.
That's where I missed it.
That's including their premiums, their deductibles, all of that.
37.
And beyond that, you would have coverage. But again, keep in mind that immediately you would experience 25 to 30% reduction in the cost of your drugs to begin with, because of the purchasing power and the leverage we would have.
Is that going to be, there's an article in the Register last Thursday, pharmacists complaining. It said that you are taking the money, even though you're saving me the money, you're taking it out of their pocket. Is that going to be anything to do with that?
Well, okay, now let's not confuse this at all with the Iowa priority.
That's what I'm getting at.
That's entirely different.
Okay.
That is not included in this. I will say, pharmacists have concerns about this too, and it's the one group that expressed some concerns, and I understand it completely. And what we have done, and I think it can be further addressed, but the reductions in the costs are coming from the drug manufacturers, drug companies, not from your local pharmacists. Okay. And there is also in this bill additional payments that will be